The journey begins in the quiet embrace of night, where the stars glimmer softly over the vast landscapes of Argentina. A gentle breeze carries the distant melody of a tango, its rhythm weaving through the streets of Buenos Aires, past grand facades and quiet lantern-lit alleys. The city hums with a warm, steady energy. Laughter drifts from an old cafe, the scent of freshly brewed coffee and buttery media lunas mingling with the air. As the world slows, the mind drifts southward, across rolling vineyards and windswept plains, where the boundless Pampas stretch beneath an endless sky. The distant Andes rise like a silent guardian, their peaks kissed by the last light of dusk. Soon, the whisper of cascading water joins the melody, a gentle roar echoing through the lush rainforest, where misty rainbows dance above Iguazú Falls. Deeper still, the journey carries onward to landscapes untamed and untouched, where Patagonia's glacial expanse glows beneath the pale shimmer of the Southern Cross. Icebergs float like silent sentinels in turquoise lakes, and the wind sweeps across the land in hushed tones, telling stories of the ancient world. In the north, the vibrant hues of the Quebrada de Humahuaca unfold like the pages of an artist's canvas, crimson and amber cliffs standing timeless beneath the high-altitude sky. The flavors of Argentina, rich and soulful, linger in the air, the smoky essence of asado cooking over open flames, the velvety smoothness of Malbec poured into a waiting glass. From the warmth of bustling city cafes to the quiet solitude of the Andean peaks, this is a land where nature and culture entwine in perfect harmony. The journey ahead is one of discovery and reflection, of gentle wonder and peaceful rest. As the heart slows and the breath deepens, the story begins. Welcome to Bedtime Travel Stories, where soothing tales and soft narrations take you on a tranquil journey through the world's most enchanting places, right from the comfort of your bed. Unwind and travel with us as we explore the globe one story at a time, helping you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep. The night settles gently over Buenos Aires, wrapping the city in a warm embrace of golden lights and distant melodies. Along the wide boulevards and narrow alleyways, echoes of tango drift into the quiet, the soulful strains of a bandoneon weaving through the cool evening air. In San Telmo, where the city's history lingers in the cobblestone streets, a couple glides across a dimly lit plaza, their steps in perfect harmony with the music. The flickering glow of antique street lamps casts long shadows, illuminating the weathered facades of colonial-era buildings, their balconies adorned with wrought iron and flowering vines. The scent of grilled chorizo and warm empanadas drifts from a nearby cafe, mingling with the crisp night air. Beyond San Telmo, the city unfolds like a grand mosaic, each district offering its own rhythm, its own story. In La Boca, vibrant hues splash across the walls of El Caminito, where murals and paintings bring the streets to life. Wooden houses in shades of red, blue, and yellow lean against one another, a reflection of the neighborhood's rich immigrant past. The scent of sizzling asado fills the air as a street musician strums a melody, his fingers plucking each note with quiet precision. A gentle breeze stirs the river nearby, its surface shimmering under the soft glow of city lights. Here, the spirit of Buenos Aires pulses strongest, alive with energy, color, and history. At the heart of the city lies Plaza de Mayo, where history lingers in the grand architecture and quiet footsteps of those who have passed before. The Casa Rosada, its pink facade bathed in the soft light of the evening, stands as a silent witness to decades of stories, moments of triumph, of sorrow, of change. The towering dome of the Metropolitan Cathedral rises nearby, its columns standing firm like sentinels of the past. There is a stillness here, a sense of time stretching between old and new, between the present and the echoes of history that whisper along the stone walkways. A short distance away, the Avenida 9 de Julio, one of the widest avenues in the world, stretches into the horizon. The towering obelisco stands proudly at its center, a beacon of the city's restless energy. The headlights of taxis blur into streaks of light as they weave through traffic, while pedestrians cross the bustling streets, their hurried steps blending into the rhythm of the metropolis. Though fast-paced and ever-moving, Buenos Aires carries an elegance that softens the rush, a grace that lingers in the way the city holds onto its past while embracing the present. Further north, Recoleta offers a different kind of serenity. Along tree-lined avenues, stately mansions with elegant French facades whisper of a bygone era, their iron balconies and marble staircases frozen in time. The scent of blooming jacarandas lingers in the air, their violet petals carpeting the sidewalks in delicate hues. In the Recoleta Cemetery, where ornate mausoleums stand like miniature palaces, the city's most legendary figures rest beneath the watchful gaze of statues and angels carved in stone. There is peace in the quiet, a reverence in the stillness. For a glimpse of the city's literary and intellectual soul, Café Tortoni welcomes visitors with its time-worn elegance. The wooden tables and stained glass ceilings have hosted generations of poets, musicians, and philosophers, their conversations carried by the aroma of rich Argentine coffee. The clink of porcelain cups and the low hum of conversation create a melody of their own, a softer echo of the music that plays in the streets beyond. A waiter moves effortlessly between tables, balancing trays of café con leche and flaky medialunas. As the night deepens, the city's pulse slows but never fully rests. The final strains of a tango fade into the distance as the last dancers step off the floor. From the grand avenues to the hidden corners, from the whispers of history to the glow of modern life, Buenos Aires has revealed itself, a city of passion, of elegance, of stories woven into the fabric of its streets. The journey has only begun, but already the spirit of Argentina has made itself known, in the music, in the history, in the soft glow of the city against the night sky. Somewhere in the distance, a final note of tango lingers before fading gently into the silence of the stars. Morning breaks over the subtropical forests of northern Argentina, where mist rises like delicate threads from the dense canopy. The air is alive with the hum of the jungle, a soft symphony of rustling leaves and distant bird calls. The path ahead winds gently through the greenery, dappled sunlight filtering through the towering Savor and lapacho trees. The scent of damp earth and wild orchids fills the air, mingling with the crisp freshness of flowing water. A cool breeze stirs the ferns, carrying the distant rhythmic thunder of Iguazú Falls, an ever-present heartbeat at the edge of the world. As the journey continues, the sound of cascading water grows stronger, each step bringing the falls into view. Then, suddenly, the jungle opens up, revealing an awe-inspiring spectacle. Iguazú Falls, stretching nearly 3 kilometers across, a seemingly endless curtain of white torrents plunging into the river below. The sheer power of the falls is humbling, their mist rising high into the sky like a veil of silver. Sunlight catches the droplets in mid-air, painting delicate rainbows that shimmer and fade. The roar of the falls reverberates in the chest, a steady, unbroken rhythm that has existed for thousands of years. A wooden walkway leads out over the rushing waters, offering an intimate encounter with the falls. The spray kisses the skin, cool and refreshing in the warmth of the sun. The mighty Devil's Throat, the most dramatic section of the falls, commands attention, a colossal cascade where the water crashes with an almost otherworldly force, disappearing into a swirling mist below. Birds ride the currents of air rising from the abyss, their silhouettes dark against the glowing haze. Above, the sky is a brilliant blue, an endless expanse stretching beyond the horizon. Beyond the waterfalls, the Iguazú National Park unfolds like an untouched paradise, home to an astonishing variety of wildlife. Scarlet macaws flash through the canopy, their calls echoing across the forest. Playful capuchin monkeys swing effortlessly from branch to branch, their curious eyes peering down from the treetops. In the undergrowth, a family of coatis, with their striped tails held high, snuffles through the leaf litter in search of fruit. The jungle breathes with life, each movement a quiet reminder of the delicate balance of nature. Further along the river, the water slows, pooling into tranquil lagoons where caimans bask on the banks, their eyes half closed in the afternoon heat. A lone jaguar, elusive and regal, moves silently through the shadows, its golden coat blending seamlessly into the foliage. Here, in the depths of the rainforest, time seems to pause. The river meanders lazily through the trees, reflecting the emerald canopy above. The air is thick with possibility, as if the jungle itself is waiting, watching, whispering secrets to those who listen. With the setting sun, the falls take on a different kind of beauty. The golden light softens the edges of the rushing water, casting long shadows across the cliffs. Fireflies begin to stir, their tiny lights flickering like stars scattered among the leaves. The air cools, carrying with it the fresh scent of damp earth and river spray. Somewhere in the distance, the call of a howler monkey rings out, a deep, resonant sound that seems to blend with the unceasing roar of the falls. As night falls, the jungle transforms into a world of mystery and quiet wonder. The rhythmic song of crickets rises in waves, a gentle chorus beneath the canopy. The falls, still rushing, take on a dreamlike quality, their white waters glowing softly in the moonlight. A sense of stillness settles over the land, the kind that invites reflection, that soothes the soul. The journey through Argentina continues, but the spirit of Iguazú remains, wild, untamed, and eternal. The falls, unchanged for millennia, will continue their ceaseless flow, their song echoing long after the footsteps fade into the night. Dawn stretches its golden fingers over the Pampas, Argentina's vast and endless plains, where the sky seems to stretch on forever. The first light of day bathes the rolling grasslands in a warm glow, illuminating fields that sway like an ocean of green. A soft mist lingers above the land, rising slowly as the sun ascends. The air is crisp and fresh, carrying the scent of damp earth and wildflowers. Somewhere in the distance, the rhythmic gallop of hooves begins to echo across the plains, a steady, familiar sound that has shaped this land for centuries. A lone gaucho, clad in a wide-brimmed hat and flowing poncho, rides across the horizon, his silhouette a timeless figure against the open sky. His horse moves with practiced ease, its muscles rippling beneath a sleek coat, trained to navigate the endless expanse. In one fluid motion, the gaucho swings his boleadoras, the traditional weighted lasso used for centuries to round up cattle. The sound of hooves and the gentle calls of livestock fill the morning air, blending seamlessly into the tranquility of the landscape. Life on the estancia, the traditional ranches of the Pampas, follows a rhythm dictated by nature. The wooden fences stretch far into the distance, enclosing herds of cattle grazing lazily under the warmth of the morning sun. The gauchos work in harmony, guiding the animals with whistles and subtle movements, their bond with their horses evident in every gesture. Nearby, a ranch house, its walls whitewashed against the vastness of the plains, stands as a quiet retreat, a place of rest after long days spent under the endless sky. As the morning stretches into afternoon, the air grows thick with the rich, smoky aroma of asado, the beloved Argentine barbecue. Over open flames, thick cuts of beef sizzle, their juices dripping onto glowing embers. A gaucho carefully turns the meat, his knife glinting in the sunlight as he slices into the perfectly charred surface. Long wooden tables are set beneath the shade of towering ombu trees, where laughter and conversation flow as freely as the deep red Malbec poured into waiting glasses. The first bite is tender, rich with flavor, a taste of Argentina's proud ranching heritage. Beyond the estancias, the Pampas stretch on, an unbroken expanse where time slows and the land seems to breathe in quiet rhythm. A gentle breeze stirs the wild grasses, sending ripples across the fields like waves on a tranquil sea. The sky, painted in hues of blue and gold, reflects in small lagoons where flamingos wade gracefully, their pink plumage vivid against the still waters. Caracaras circle overhead, their sharp eyes scanning the land below, while foxes move stealthily through the underbrush, blending effortlessly into the earth-toned palette of the plains. As dusk approaches, the sky ignites in a symphony of color, deep oranges melting into soft purples, then fading into the cool indigo of night. A gaucho, now resting by the flickering light of a campfire, strums a quiet tune on his guitar, his voice low and steady, singing songs passed down through generations. The flames dance, casting long shadows across the land, their warmth cutting through the crisp evening air. Nearby, the horses stand still, their breath visible in the cool night, their eyes reflecting the glow of the firelight. Under the vast expanse of the southern hemisphere's sky, the stars emerge one by one, until they form an endless canopy of silver light. The Southern Cross shines bright, a celestial guide as old as time, watching over the land and those who call it home. The Pampas, though vast and wild, hold a sense of deep serenity, a place where the simple life remains untouched, where tradition endures in the rhythm of hooves, in the scent of asado, in the songs sung beneath the stars. The journey continues, but the spirit of the Pampas lingers, a quiet reminder of Argentina's beating heart. The whispers of the wind through the grass, the echoes of galloping hooves, and the soft flicker of firelight remain, gently fading into the stillness of the night. Morning arrives gently in Mendoza, where the golden light of dawn filters through neat rows of vineyards stretching toward the horizon. The air is cool and crisp, carrying the scent of damp earth and ripening grapes. In the distance, the Andes Mountains rise like silent guardians, their snow-capped peaks glowing beneath the early sunlight. The vines, heavy with fruit, shimmer with morning dew, their deep purple and emerald hues a striking contrast against the rugged landscape beyond. A quiet breeze stirs the leaves, whispering through the vines, as the city stirs to life at the foothills of Argentina's wine country. The vineyards of Mendoza are a world unto themselves, where time slows to the rhythm of nature. In the Uco Valley, one of the most celebrated wine regions in Argentina, the land unfurls in vast stretches of fertile soil, cradled by the Andean foothills. Here, some of the finest Malbec in the world is cultivated, its vines thriving under the unique combination of altitude, arid climate, and pure glacial water flowing from the mountains. The winemakers, their hands stained with the deep hues of crushed grapes, move with practiced ease, tending to the vines with the kind of devotion passed down through generations. A winding road leads to one of Mendoza's storied bodegas, where elegant stone archways open to reveal a world of oak barrels and quiet corridors. Inside, the scent of aging wine lingers, rich and inviting. A vintner carefully pours a glass of Malbec, its deep red color catching the light as it swirls in the glass. The first sip is smooth, full-bodied, carrying notes of dark berries, plum, and a whisper of chocolate. It is a wine shaped by the land itself, a perfect harmony of soil, sun, and sky. Beyond the vineyards, Mendoza offers a world of quiet charm. The city's Plaza Independencia is shaded by towering sycamore trees, their broad leaves casting dappled patterns onto the cobbled paths below. The trickling sound of fountains blends with the soft murmur of conversation, as locals and visitors alike sip café con leche in the shaded terraces that line the square. Nearby, the bustling Mercado Central comes to life with the scent of freshly baked bread, artisan cheeses, and the unmistakable spice of chimichurri. The hum of vendors and laughter fills the air, a warm, familiar rhythm in this land of plenty. As the day stretches on, the Andes call to adventurers, their jagged peaks promising both challenge and wonder. The towering Aconcagua, the highest mountain in the Western Hemisphere, stands in silent majesty, its summit a dream for climbers who seek its heights. In the lower valleys, trails wind through rugged landscapes, where rivers carve their way through deep canyons, and the scent of wild lavender drifts on the mountain air. Horses move in graceful strides along the winding paths, carrying riders into the quiet solitude of the highlands, where the world seems vast and endless. Evening falls over the vineyards, bathing the land in hues of gold and rose. The last rays of sunlight kiss the Andes, their snow-covered peaks glowing like embers against the sky. A long wooden table is set beneath a canopy of grapevines, where soft lanterns cast pools of warm light. Plates of asado, grilled vegetables, and handmade empanadas are passed between friends and family, accompanied by glasses of deep, velvety Malbec. The laughter is easy, the conversation slow, the night stretching out with the comfort of good company and fine wine. As the stars begin to appear, Mendoza settles into a gentle hush. Fireflies dance between the vines, their tiny lights flickering in the cool night air. The mountains, their peaks dusted in moonlight, stand as they always have, watching over the land, steady and eternal. The vineyards, too, will remain, their vines reaching toward the sky, carrying within them the story of this place, of earth and sun, of patience and passion, of wine and the quiet beauty of time. The journey through Argentina continues, but the taste of Mendoza lingers, a reminder of the land's generosity, its richness, and the way it invites all who visit to slow down, to breathe, and to savor the moment. Morning breaks over Patagonia, casting soft golden light across an untamed wilderness that stretches beyond sight. Here at the far reaches of Argentina, nature reigns supreme. The air is crisp, filled with the scent of frost-kissed earth and wild grasses swaying in the wind. Snow-dusted peaks pierce the sky, their rugged faces glowing in the early sunlight. A stillness lingers in this vast land, broken only by the distant cry of an Andean condor soaring high above the jagged cliffs. The Torres del Paine Mountains rise like ancient sentinels, their granite spires glowing pink in the morning light. Glacial rivers weave through the valleys below, carving paths through dense lenga forests and rolling meadows where guanacos graze in quiet clusters. The wind, ever present, moves across the land in sweeping gusts, rustling through the golden tufts of grass that cover the endless steppe. It is a land of extremes, of fire and ice, of stillness and storm, of isolation and breathtaking beauty. Further south, the world grows colder, wilder, untouched. The Perito Moreno Glacier, a colossal wall of ice, stretches across the landscape, its surface shimmering in shades of sapphire and pearl. The ice creaks and groans, shifting in slow, imperceptible movements, until a thunderous crack splits the air, and a massive chunk of ice crashes into the turquoise waters below. The sound echoes across the valley, a reminder of the glacier's slow but relentless march. Boats drift silently across the lake, their passengers gazing in awe at the frozen monolith, humbled by its sheer immensity. Along the coast, Patagonia meets the sea, where towering cliffs stand against the crashing waves of the Atlantic Ocean. In the distance, a colony of Magellanic penguins waddles along the rocky shore, their black and white forms a striking contrast against the golden sands. Further out, elephant seals bask lazily in the sun, their enormous forms half buried in the cool sand. Offshore, the waters of the Beagle Channel shimmer beneath the open sky, where pods of orcas glide effortlessly through the waves, their dorsal fins slicing through the surface with quiet elegance. In the heart of Patagonia, nestled between mountains and lakes, lies El Chalten, a remote village known as Argentina's trekking capital. Trails wind through rugged terrain, leading hikers to breathtaking viewpoints where the Fitzroy Massif dominates the skyline, its jagged peaks cutting into the sky like shards of stone. The scent of pine and damp earth fills the air as streams rush over smooth stones, their waters pure and ice-cold. Each step into the wilderness feels like stepping further into a world untouched by time. As the sun sets, the sky transforms into a masterpiece of fire and gold, its colors reflecting in the still waters of the lakes and fjords. The wind settles into a gentle whisper, carrying the distant calls of birds returning to their nests. In the small estancias that dot the landscape, the warmth of flickering candlelight glows through the windows, promising comfort against the evening chill. Inside, a fire crackles softly as a simple meal of roasted lamb and fresh bread is shared, the flavors rich and grounding, a taste of Patagonia's rugged bounty. Night falls, revealing a sky so vast and clear that it feels like looking into infinity. The Southern Cross shines bright, its 4 stars guiding the way as they have for travelers for centuries. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens, its dense clusters of stars forming a luminous river in the dark. Beneath this celestial display, Patagonia remains, as it always has, untamed, majestic, a place where time moves to the rhythm of nature itself. The journey through Argentina continues, but Patagonia lingers in the soul. It is a place of solitude and wonder, of boundless horizons and whispered winds. Here, at the edge of the world, the land speaks in a language of silence, inviting all who visit to listen, to breathe, and to feel the humbling embrace of the wild. Dawn breaks gently over Argentina's Lake District, where the world wakes in a hushed serenity. The first light of morning spills across the glassy surface of Nahuel Huapi Lake, turning the water into a mirror of soft pinks and golds. Mist lingers over the lake's edge, rising in delicate tendrils from the emerald forests that stretch toward the mountains. Snow-capped peaks frame the horizon, their rugged slopes reflecting the cool glow of the morning sky. The air is crisp, laced with the scent of pine, fresh water, and damp earth, a reminder of the untamed wilderness that thrives here. This is Bariloche, the heart of Argentina's alpine wonderland, where Swiss-style chalets nestle into the foothills of the Andes, and winding roads lead to secluded mountain retreats. The town, known for its rich chocolate, artisan markets, and breathtaking scenery, is a gateway to nature's embrace. Wooden lodges with stone fireplaces offer a warm respite from the brisk mountain air, their windows framing views of the vast glacial lakes that define this region. In the early morning quiet, the town's cobbled streets remain still, waiting for the soft hum of life to return with the rising sun. A short drive from Bariloche, the famous Seven Lakes route unfolds like a ribbon of beauty, weaving between shimmering lakes, dense forests, and towering peaks. Lago Correntoso, the smallest but most pristine of them all, reflects the surrounding landscape like a perfect watercolor. Lago Espejo, or Mirror Lake, lives up to its name, offering a flawless reflection of the sky above. Along the way, wildflowers bloom in bursts of color, their delicate petals swaying in the cool breeze. Eagles circle high overhead, their sharp cries cutting through the mountain stillness. Further into the wilderness, Arrayanes National Park stands as a hidden gem, its ancient myrtle trees creating an enchanted forest unlike any other. The cinnamon-colored bark of the trees peels away in soft curls, revealing smooth trunks beneath. Sunlight filters through the dense canopy, casting warm golden hues onto the forest floor. The path winds gently through the grove, leading to the shores of Lago Nahuel Huapi, where the rhythmic lapping of water blends seamlessly with the distant calls of birds perched in the branches. As the day stretches on, the Andes call to adventurers. A winding trail leads upward, past gurgling brooks and open meadows where wild horses graze in the afternoon light. Higher still, the sound of rushing water grows stronger until it reveals itself, Cascada Los Alerces, a waterfall cascading down the mountainside in a silver ribbon. The mist kisses the air, cool and pure, before settling into a turquoise pool below. The climb continues toward the Frey Refuge, a remote mountain hut perched high above the valley, where climbers and trekkers pause to take in the breathtaking panorama of jagged peaks and deep blue lakes stretching into the horizon. Evening arrives with the scent of firewood and the comforting warmth of a cup of Submarino, Argentina's famous hot chocolate. In a cozy lakeside cabin, a pot of locro, a hearty stew of corn, beans, and slow-cooked meat simmers over a crackling fire. Outside, the last light of the sun paints the sky in soft hues of lavender and rose, reflecting over the still waters of Lago Moreno. Fireflies begin to flicker in the twilight, their gentle glow adding to the magic of the moment. Under a sky dusted with stars, the Lake District settles into its nighttime hush. The Southern Cross twinkles above the mountains, while the soft rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl create a lullaby for the land. The lakes rest in quiet stillness, their surfaces reflecting the universe above. In this alpine wonderland, nature whispers to those who listen, inviting them to slow down, to breathe, and to feel the deep, abiding peace of the mountains. The journey through Argentina continues, but the tranquility of the Lake District lingers, a place where the air is pure, the waters are still, and the soul finds quiet refuge in the embrace of the wild. Morning arrives on the Valdez Peninsula, where the vast Patagonian steppe meets the deep blue of the Atlantic Ocean. A golden glow spreads across the horizon, painting the cliffs and dunes in soft hues of amber. The salty breeze carries the distant calls of seabirds, the rhythmic crashing of waves, and the occasional deep, resonant breath of a whale surfacing offshore. In this remote corner of Argentina, nature moves at its own pace, and the wildlife that thrives here commands the landscape with quiet majesty. As the sun climbs higher, the Golfo Nuevo and Golfo San Jose begin to shimmer under the morning light. The peninsula is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a place of rugged beauty and ecological importance. It is home to some of the world's most spectacular marine life, where the annual migrations of whales, sea lions, and penguins unfold in an unbroken rhythm, year after year. Along the shore, a colony of Magellanic penguins waddle between their burrows, their black and white forms standing in stark contrast against the sun-bleached sand. Some preen their feathers, others call out in short, melodic cries that blend into the wind. Further along the coastline, a group of southern elephant seals bask on the rocky shore, their massive forms half buried in the cool sand. They lounge in utter stillness, their bodies rising and falling with each slow breath. Every now and then, a deep guttural call echoes through the air, a sound so ancient it seems to belong to the land itself. Not far beyond the shoreline, orca pods patrol the waters, their sleek black fins slicing through the waves with quiet purpose. In an awe-inspiring display of skill and intelligence, they sometimes ride the surf onto the beach, momentarily stranding themselves to hunt unsuspecting seals before retreating back into the ocean's depths. Inland, the landscape shifts to endless steppe, where the grasses sway in the ever-present wind. A herd of guanacos, relatives of the llama, moves gracefully through the plains, their slender forms silhouetted against the open sky. Nearby, an Andean condor circles above, its immense wingspan casting a fleeting shadow over the earth. This is a land of both movement and stillness, where life has adapted to the extremes of wind and solitude. At Puerto Piramides, the peninsula's only village, small boats wait in the harbor, ready to set sail in search of one of Patagonia's greatest wonders, the southern right whale. These gentle giants arrive in the calm bays each year to breed and give birth, their enormous bodies moving gracefully beneath the surface. As the boat drifts into open water, the silence is profound. Then, a slow exhale, a misty plume rising from the ocean, signals the presence of one of these magnificent creatures. The water ripples as a mother and her calf emerge, their dark, barnacle-covered bodies gliding effortlessly through the waves. The sight is humbling, a moment that connects the vastness of the sea with the quiet presence of something ancient and enduring. As the sun lowers toward the horizon, the cliffs of Punta Delgada and Punta Norte glow in soft pastels. Shadows stretch long over the land, and the air cools with the onset of evening. The last calls of seabirds fade into the wind as the wildlife settles into the hush of twilight. The peninsula, ever watchful, keeps its quiet vigil over the Atlantic, the rhythm of its tides unchanged by time. Night falls over Valdez, revealing a sky so vast and clear that the Milky Way spills across it like a river of light. The Southern Cross shines brightly, guiding both mariners at sea and wanderers of the land. The gentle lapping of waves against the shore provides a lullaby for the creatures that call this sanctuary home. In this place of untamed beauty, the world feels vast yet intimately connected, a place where nature moves freely, unburdened by time, and the ocean's song echoes into the endless Patagonian night. The journey through Argentina continues, but the wild majesty of the Valdez Peninsula lingers, a reminder of the untamed spirit of Patagonia and the deep, abiding rhythm of the natural world. Morning unfolds over Argentina's northwest, where the rising sun sets the landscape aglow in shades of scarlet, gold, and ochre. The air is warm and dry, carrying the earthy scent of sun-baked rock and desert sage. Towering cacti stand like silent sentinels, their arms reaching skyward as if greeting the new day. In the distance, Quebrada de Humahuaca, a deep valley carved by time, stretches toward the horizon, its multicolored hills glowing under the morning light. This is a land where nature's artistry and ancient culture exist in perfect harmony. The Quebrada de Humahuaca, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a place of breathtaking contrasts. The Cerro de los Siete Colores, the Hill of Seven Colors, rises like a painted canvas, its layers of violet, emerald, ochre, and pink, revealing the story of millions of years of geological evolution. As the sunlight shifts, the hues deepen, creating an ever-changing masterpiece. Below, a narrow road winds through humble villages, where whitewashed adobe houses blend seamlessly into the desert landscape. One such village, Purmamarca, rests at the foot of the painted hills. Here, cobblestone streets lead to a small plaza where artisans display hand-woven textiles, ceramic figurines, and silver jewelry adorned with symbols passed down through generations. The scent of freshly baked empanadas drifts through the air, mingling with the sounds of a wooden flute played by a local musician. The market stalls are vibrant with colors, blankets woven in deep reds, oranges, and blues, their patterns echoing the surrounding mountains. Deeper into the region, the journey ascends into the Puna, a vast Andean plateau where time slows to the rhythm of the wind. Here, at nearly 4,000 meters, 13,000 feet above sea level, the air grows thin and the sky stretches endlessly, its deep blue hue unbroken by clouds. Flamingos wade through the still waters of Laguna de los Pozuelos, their slender reflections rippling across the mirrored surface. Llamas and vicuñas graze on golden grasses, their quiet presence adding to the tranquility of this high-altitude sanctuary. To the south, the landscape transforms once more as the Salinas Grandes emerge, a vast expanse of glistening white salt flats stretching as far as the eye can see. The ground sparkles under the midday sun, reflecting the sky above in a surreal, dreamlike illusion. The silence here is absolute, broken only by the distant sound of wind whispering across the crystalline surface. Small pools of deep blue water interrupt the whiteness, revealing the hidden salt beneath the Earth's crust. Visitors walk carefully across the flats, pausing to marvel at the way the horizon seems to disappear into infinity. In the afternoon, the journey winds toward Cafayate, the heart of Argentina's high-altitude wine country. Vineyards stretch across rolling hills, their Malbec and Torronte grapes thriving in the arid climate. Rows of vines stand in orderly perfection against the backdrop of the Calchaquí valleys, where rugged cliffs glow in the amber light. At a small bodega, wine pours into a glass, its deep crimson hue catching the sunlight. The first sip is bold, rich, infused with the essence of the land. Beneath the shade of an ancient carob tree, a plate of locro stew and Andean cheese offers the perfect accompaniment to the flavors of the valley. As the sun dips low, shadows stretch across the Devil's Throat Canyon, where sheer red rock walls rise toward the sky in sculpted perfection. The sound of a distant Andean pan flute drifts through the canyon, carried on the wind like a whisper from the past. The sky deepens into shades of orange and indigo, and the first stars begin to appear, twinkling above the vast open desert. Night settles gently over the northwest, revealing a sky untouched by city lights. The Milky Way arcs overhead, a luminous river flowing through the darkness. A sense of timelessness lingers here. This is a land where the ancient and the eternal exist side by side, where the past speaks through the wind and the mountains, and where the soul finds peace in the vastness of the earth. The journey through Argentina continues, but the mystique of the Northwest remains, a place where the land tells stories, and the silence is filled with whispers of history, tradition, and the enduring spirit of the Andes. The winds of Tierra del Fuego whisper across the southernmost reaches of the world, where the land breaks apart into scattered islands before surrendering to the endless sea. Here at the edge of Argentina, time slows, and the vast expanse of Patagonia's final frontier stretches toward the horizon. The morning light spills over the jagged peaks of the Marshall Mountains, casting long shadows over Ushuaia, the world's southernmost city. The air is crisp, tinged with the briny scent of the Beagle Channel, where the deep blue waters stir restlessly under the pull of the Antarctic winds. Aboard a small boat, the journey begins across the Beagle Channel, where snow-capped peaks rise like silent guardians on either side. The lighthouse at the end of the world, standing on a lonely rock, flashes its beacon through the mist, a guiding light for sailors who navigate these treacherous waters. The cries of cormorants and terns fill the air, their dark silhouettes wheeling against the sky as they ride the gusts. On rocky outcroppings, sea lions bask in the weak sunlight, their heavy forms barely stirring as the waves crash against their island home. Further along, the boat drifts toward Isla Martillo, where the shores come alive with the flurry of Magellanic and Gentoo penguins. Dressed in their natural tuxedos, they waddle across the sand, occasionally stopping to inspect their visitors with quiet curiosity. Some dive into the icy waters, their sleek bodies cutting through the waves with effortless grace. The landscape is stark, yet filled with life, a place where nature's rhythms continue undisturbed by the world beyond. Beyond the water, Tierra del Fuego National Park unfolds in a wilderness of glacial rivers, lenga forests, and wind-swept fjords. The Lapataya River carves its way through the valley, its still waters reflecting the sky like polished glass. Along the forest trails, the scent of wild orchids and moss-covered trees lingers in the cool air. A red fox moves silently through the undergrowth, its amber eyes scanning the landscape with ancient knowing. Above, Andean condors soar with their wings stretched wide, circling high on the thermals. The train whistle sounds in the distance, the end of the world train, a historic railway once used to transport prisoners, now winding its way through the heart of the wild. The wooden cars sway gently as the train chugs along, passing through peat bogs and dense forests, tracing the same route that once carried convicts to the island's remote work camps. There is a quiet reverence to the journey, a reminder of how this land, harsh and untamed, has shaped those who dared to call it home. As the day fades, the journey continues toward the southernmost tip of Argentina, where the rugged cliffs of Cape Horn rise defiantly against the ocean. Here, at the meeting point of the Atlantic and Pacific, the waves crash in an eternal battle, their white caps reaching toward the sky in wild defiance. The wind howls through the empty expanse, carrying the weight of countless voyages, of sailors who braved these legendary waters in search of the unknown. Back in Ushuaia, the evening settles over the harbor. The mountains glow in the last light of the sun, their snowy peaks dusted in pink and gold. In a small tavern, the rich aroma of king crab stew and freshly baked bread fills the air, a welcome warmth against the cold. A glass of Malbec glows deep red in the candlelight, reflecting the fire flickering in the stone hearth. Outside, the first stars begin to emerge, scattered across the sky in a brilliance only seen at the edge of the world. Night falls over Tierra del Fuego, and with it, a profound sense of stillness. The Southern Cross hangs low in the sky, guiding travelers who have ventured far beyond the familiar. The wind whispers through the valleys, carrying stories of explorers, dreamers, and the untamed spirit of the land. At the world's end, there is a quiet beauty, a solitude that speaks not of isolation, but of belonging to the earth, to the sea, to the vastness of existence itself. The journey through Argentina nears its end, but the mystery and majesty of Tierra del Fuego remain, a land where the wild meets the infinite, and the world fades gently into the embrace of the sea. As the journey through Argentina comes to its final chapter, the country reveals itself in a different way, not through its landscapes, but through the flavors, aromas, and traditions that bring people together. Argentina is a land of contrasts, of Andean highlands, Patagonian wilderness, bustling cities, and sun-drenched vineyards. But its cuisine weaves these elements into a single, unifying experience. A farewell in Argentina is not just a goodbye. It is a moment to sit at the table, raise a glass, and savor the richness of the land one last time. The day begins in Buenos Aires, where the scent of freshly baked medialunas drifts from neighborhood bakeries. These golden, flaky pastries, some glazed with syrup, others dusted with sugar, pair perfectly with a strong café cortado, a simple yet comforting start to the morning. In the city's many cafes, locals linger over breakfast, reading the morning paper or chatting with friends, embracing the unhurried rhythm of porteño life. By midday, the journey moves to the countryside where the asado, Argentina's legendary barbecue, is already underway. Smoke rises from the parrilla, where cuts of beef, lamb, and chorizo sizzle over glowing embers. The scent is intoxicating, a blend of slow-cooked meat, smoldering wood, and crisp mountain air. The Pampas, endless and golden, stretch toward the horizon, where Gauchos on horseback oversee herds of cattle, continuing a tradition that has defined Argentina for centuries. At the heart of the asado experience is more than just food. It is a ritual, a time to gather with family and friends, to share stories and laughter over plates of tender, smoky beef. The first bite of an ojo de beef, or a perfectly grilled entraña, melts in the mouth, its rich, deep flavor enhanced by a drizzle of chimichurri, the bright green sauce of parsley, garlic, and vinegar that brings a sharp, herby contrast to the meat. A sip of Malbec, Argentina's signature red wine, rounds out the experience, its bold flavors mirroring the vastness of the land itself. As the journey continues, the flavors of Argentina take on new forms. In Mendoza, the midday sun warms the vineyards, where Torrontés, Bonarda, and Malbec grapes ripen under the Andean sky. At a small family-run bodega, glasses are filled with deep crimson wine, each sip carrying hints of blackberry, spice, and earth, the pure expression of the land in liquid form. A plate of empanadas salteñas, their delicate crusts encasing spiced beef and olives, arrives at the table, pairing effortlessly with the wine's lingering finish. In the Northwest, the taste of tradition is found in a bowl of locro, a rich, hearty stew of corn, pumpkin, chorizo, and slow-cooked beef, warming the soul as much as the body. The Andean air is crisp, and the flavors of the Altiplano are simple yet profound. Humita, a steamed corn tamale wrapped in husks, and quesillo, a fresh cheese served with a drizzle of honey. The farewell to Argentina would not be complete without a stop in Bariloche, where the scent of chocolate fills the air. Here, at the gateway to Patagonia, artisanal chocolate shops line the streets, offering delicate truffles, dulce de leche-filled bonbons, and bars of rich, silky chocolate infused with Patagonian berries. A mug of hot chocolate, thick and decadent, warms the hands as the sun begins to set behind the jagged peaks of the Andes. As night falls, the journey nears its end back in Buenos Aires, where the final meal unfolds in a dimly lit parrilla, tucked away in a quiet corner of San Telmo. A plate of provoleta, a golden bubbling wheel of provolone cheese drizzled with oregano and olive oil, is placed on the table, its edges crisp, its center molten. A final bite of dulce de leche, layered between delicate sheets of alfajores, lingers on the palate, a sweet memory of Argentina's passion for indulgence. The evening winds down with a mate, Argentina's most cherished ritual. The hollowed-out gourd, filled with the earthy aroma of yerba mate, is passed around the table, sipped slowly through a silver bombilla. It is a moment of quiet reflection, a simple yet meaningful act of connection. A farewell not just to the journey, but to the spirit of Argentina itself. Outside, the streets hum softly with the sound of tango music, a melody of nostalgia and longing, of passion and history. The final steps are taken along the cobbled streets, the night breeze carrying the scent of grilled meat, blooming jacarandas, and the distant river. The journey ends, but the taste of Argentina, its landscapes, its people, its traditions, will linger long after the last bite, the last sip, the last song. As the journey through Argentina comes to an end, the memories linger like the final notes of a tango melody, soft, lingering, filled with nostalgia. From the bustling streets of Buenos Aires to the serene vineyards of Mendoza, from the towering peaks of Patagonia to the untamed beauty of Tierra del Fuego, Argentina has revealed itself in layers, each landscape, each tradition, each flavor adding to the story of this vast and captivating land. The whisper of the Andean wind, the rhythmic crash of waves against the Atlantic coast, and the distant echo of hooves pounding the Pampas, these sounds remain, imprinted in the mind like the brushstrokes of a painting that will never fade. The warmth of an asado shared among friends, the richness of Malbec sipped under a starlit sky, the sweetness of dulce de leche melting on the tongue. These tastes become memories, woven into the fabric of the experience. Argentina is more than a place. It is a feeling, a rhythm, a spirit, one that lingers long after the journey has ended. It is found in the laughter of people gathered around a table, in the solitude of the mountains, in the passion of dancers lost in the embrace of the tango. It is a land that invites exploration, that welcomes dreamers, that leaves an indelible mark on the heart of those who walk its roads. And so, with a final glance at the endless horizons, a last sip of mate, and a quiet farewell whispered to the night, the journey closes. But Argentina, wild, poetic, boundless, will always remain, waiting to be rediscovered, waiting to welcome travelers once again. We hope you enjoyed today's serene journey and found peace in our gentle narration. Do join us next time as we make a relaxing visit to another of the world's most iconic places. Sweet dreams and safe travels until we meet again.